Okay, welcome, Leo. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Very good. It's having a lot of fun recently with playing with sensors, so it's always a happy day for me when I get to talk more about LoRaWAN.
Okay, really good. And today, our webinar is most focused on the topic with SenseCAP, Track T1000, and the Trackpac solutions. So how about we dive in? Oh, forgot to introduce myself. Yes, I'm Kevin. Kevin Young. Personally, is the product director in Sales Studio. And take care of most of the LoRaWAN devices, including sensors and gateways. Yeah. And you,
Yeah,
Leo?
I'm Neil Scotland. I'm managing director of Trackpac. We're an IT platform for sensors that's working with Seed for the T1000.
Oh, great. Welcome. Okay. So today, I think the audience will here is a takeaway. First, we might introduce our companies a little bit, and then I will starting to introduce this new device, LoRaWAN tracker, very tiny. And then the most important part, I invite Neil to join us to share some cool features about TrackPad and its solutions, especially focus on the tracking solutions. Okay. Okay, then it's first is my part. I think Sys Studio has quite a long history. It's already 50 years old. Founded in 2008 in China, based in China, Shenzhen. And the mission for us is to serve the developers with the latest and the best IoT and edge AI devices. We already have 200K customers all over the world. Most of them big players in the market, like Cargill and AWS. And the devices we are focused on is in the smart cities, agriculture, and retail and manufacturing, etc. So that's a general intro of seed. And this diagram is illustration about what we sell, what we do. If this studio offer just one product, I think the product is advanced perception system. And we design from the button side is a sensor, like the LoRaWAN sensor and other protocol sensors. And build up, we design the gateway edge devices with edge computing features like the AI. And on top of that, we offer some of our demo applications and the cloud and together with the hardware and the solution for the customer. And next couple of years, we also step into the blockchain, and that's why we come to the Helium communities and bring out some gateways like SenseCAP M1, M2, and later we have our sensors to serve the communities. That's very general of the City Studio. Here is the picture that you can see. We not only design the big ones, big weather station sensors, also smart like environment sensor built powered by LoRaWAN, and also today's main character, the SenseCAP tracker. Okay, that's a little bit about Seed Studio. And Neil?
Sure. So Trackpac was founded 2 years back now. I originally sold my business and moved into blockchain. I found Helium very, very early on. And part of that process is optimizing your antennas, and part of that process is mapping your coverage. So I saw that I wanted to map my coverage, and I looked at it and I started mapping it and where I could have coverage. And I realized that there's no real easy system out there to be able to do this on a large scale for these types of devices. So we started Trackpac. And once I mapped my coverage, I realized that it's so useful to track things that couldn't be tracked before. The low power nature of it just meant that you could track things like pets or cargo along the way. And so we developed a full platform to support that. In the last couple of months, we've branched out into a full platform. So we support many devices, such as the Seed S2101, which is a great unit. And yeah, we're expanding from there. So we're a full end-to-end solution for LoRaWAN products.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think you are studying the business in I think some kind of because of Helium, the big coverage, the LoRaWAN network, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, LoRaWAN enables tracking and just free roaming sensors on a huge scale that just wasn't possible before. So TTN, for example, is a great network. It's very, very advanced, but they have a chicken and the egg situation is that you have to put your own coverage in
Yeah.
to get coverage. Whereas with Helium, there's a very, very good chance that where you want coverage, there is already coverage. So you're saving so much money that you can just buy the end nodes and use this amazing coverage.
Yeah, definitely. With Helium global coverage with public neural network, the user just care about the nodes and with
Mm.
data costs, and then they got the network served for the nodes and saving a lot of money to deploy and hire people to install the gateway. Yeah, that's something really cool. Yeah. Okay. Uh, next part, I just started with SenseCAP tracker, and also I want to, yeah, Leo, you can just interact with me if you're
Sure.
seeing any, yeah, okay. So SenseCAP T1000 tracker is the latest SenseCAP LoRaWAN series product. It is focused on the indoor and outdoor positioning devices. So normally, the tracking devices either is outdoor and with 4G or is just personnel with BLE like Apple AirTag. But we want to put everything together. So to bond indoor and outdoor together because in some asset trackings, the assets moving from the indoor and outdoor the best ways. So that's the idea we want to do in the first beginning when we want to design a tracker. But why we want to design a tracker is we Studio already focused on the LoRaWAN device for quite a few years. And for environment sensor, outdoor sensors, we already have a lot. And but we haven't have a device with tracking features. So that's why we always have it in my mind. But why we decide to do that is the reason, I think, because of the overall Helium coverage in the most of the city in the world. That's a decision point that we want to leverage the coverage, the network, to build a device that's truly useful for the users. That's where the SenseCAP T1000 comes from. Again, so a lot of tracker form factor, a lot of scenarios, but where to start? So our idea is we need to bring the cost down. We need to let people try this first. So we just design this slim and credit card sized tracker with most of the LoRaWAN feature and sensor inside. So that's something really good for a trial in the first place, especially those old IT guys. They do not know LoRaWAN. They just want to know this new technology. So that's definitely a good device to try.
100%. I find the best thing about explaining LoRaWAN to people is put a sensor in their hands. And being able to do that so cheaply right now is amazing with the T1000. A lot of LoRaWAN sensors out there are nearly £100, or what's that, like $120, or even some of the other manufacturers, the cheaper ones, are still $40 to $60 to pounds, So having something so low cost like this really is a game changer, being able to just hand them one, say, here, try it.
Yes, yeah, that's our goal. Yeah, we want to bring this to the market first and then serve the vertical leads, customer leads. But we need a ticket to enter in the market. That's a ticket. And next is Yeah, a little bit about the outdoor and indoor. Yeah, we use GNSS system, like GPS, or different country has different their GNSS system. And then for serving the outdoor, get the latitude and the longitude, and then get the location on the map. For indoor, we never use the Wi-Fi sliffering, just sliffering the access point MAC, or or the BLE using a beacon like this. Put the beacon somewhere in the meeting room or different places, and the tracker, when just close into it, the tracker will log the UUID of the tracker and then send to the cloud, and that's where the indoor positioning happening. Yeah, that's indoor and outdoor. We leverage three communication protocols: Wi-Fi, BLE, and GNSS. Okay. Yeah, showing a picture and the size of the beacon. Yeah, you can put multiple beacons in an indoor warehouse anywhere you want. Here is a brief system. For level for you to read the architecture, it's pretty simple. In LoRaWAN world, as we know, right, there's three fundamental parameters. The one is node, one is gateway, and one is the server side LoRaWAN server. So as a tracker, they just get the positioning, raw data, like either GNS or Wi-Fi or BLE, and then forward to the gateway and then go to cloud. And that's where goes to Trackpad. And Trackpad leverage those data to like either look up for the Wi-Fi positioning system and get the accurate positioning in the and point out in the map and set some geo defense or made some tracing features. That's where the final tracking solution comes from. So, but as Sit Studio, we design hardware, we make the device standard as a standard LoRaWAN device and go to where it should be, and we just focus on that. And the rest of the adding value, we expect the partners and Trackpad to serve the final customers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. We really like, sorry, I was just going to say about that model then. The Wi-Fi sniffing ability of these devices means that the battery life can be extended so far. It's just incredible. We've really been enjoying using them in Wi-Fi only mode. And one thing that we've really done as well is do some indoor mapping of the Wi-Fi. So in our lookup database, we actually have mapped our local Wi-Fi. So we can have much more accurate readings from the Wi-Fi than sometimes than the GPS itself, because it just loses its ability indoors. So having that Wi-Fi map being so accurate is a crazy ability of this T1000 for sure.
Good, good. Yeah, looking forward to that because we barely build the final application. So love to see what magic that our partner can bring to the customers. Okay. Here are some scenarios. Yeah, as you say, oh, this is not only a tracker. We think the customer also, especially for the business customer, they also cares very about the environment that the device attached. So we put multiple sensors like temperature, light, motion sensors into the tracker, and that should for some scenarios that food and a cold chain and some delivery and logistic. And so there's some case or large field like the mining and the oil industrials. They have a giant, very high value devices or machines need tracking. So that's something why we put like motion, temperature, and light sensor into that. Okay. This feature I want to highlight a little bit is I think most of the LoRaWAN tracker in the past cannot just switch in the frequency band by itself, but as a tracker, especially LoRaWAN has multiple regions, especially in the if you are close to the region of the two regions, the tracker will goes to different regions crossing the boundaries. But as a regulation of different regions, you need to follow the government, the IF frequency plan. And that's why a lot of LoRaWAN devices can configure as different LoRaWAN frequency band like US 915, EU arrows. But we want to add a feature that this is a tracker. This tracker already know where it is. So how about we just put a data set in locally into the tracker itself, and the tracker, when we wake up and get GPS signals and know where the hex arrows it belongs to. Euro, okay, I follow the rule. And if we switch to the US 915 and he gets the 92 and 92 and say, oh, that's something wrong. We cannot just continue sending the Euro frequency band. We need to reboot and configure the change the configuration to US 915 and then join the network again. With Helium networks, they can join successfully and then keep uploading the data. So that made it possible to satisfy the cross region and also satisfy the local regularity of the IF control. Okay, that's some features where I just want to highlight. We are working on it, and we want to bring this to market. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of my favorite features that I really like the sound of because it suddenly opens up use cases of shipping all over the world. Before you had to treat them as different territories almost that you couldn't work in with a different device. So suddenly you can have one device over the whole world. It's incredible.
Yeah. You might not be curious about how we build this. Yeah, this is board inside. Just half of the size. The downside is just the batteries. So this board is very tiny, and I think the most difficult part when we designing such a device is dealing with multiple antennas. You can imagine that there is LoRa antenna and the GNS and Wi-Fi and BLE. So four antennas in such narrow devices, and also wanted to keep the higher performances. So we made 1, 2, 3, 4, boards iterations and make the final choice to finalize the design. And so you can see in the picture, yeah, that's just a story behind the scene, yeah. And also the tracker, when we're switching from indoor outdoor, so it may go to some very harsh environment, like the exposed to the rains or the sun. So the enclosure is durable, robust, and is IP67 waterproof, and just IP65 ratings, and it can bear in the resistance to the rain. So don't worry about it. It's good. That's most feature I want to talk about, and there's a lot to talk. And like the device can cache the data for over 1,000 records, or it has a buzzer to interact with just pressing the button like this, and it just broadcast the BLE, and you can use your phone to pair it and configure it, change the firmware, something like that. And you also can double click the device and like this.
Yeah, an alarm mode.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you will automatically join the network and send in the data. Okay. A lot of features. I will leave the link of the product information end of this video, and people user, you can just go there to learn more about it. But before that, I want to highly recommend you to listen what Leo brings to us, because I think the tracking solution is far more than hardware. The software, the platform, is make this really valuable and useful. So there you go.
Sure. So let me tell you a bit about Trackpac. Over the last few months, we've really developed our platform out to support any LoRaWAN device. Really, we're starting to support the full range of seed hardware devices on our platform. And the most recent one that we've done is the T1000. We use the GPS on it, but we also use our own Wi-Fi lookup system. So we use publicly sourced data, and which we can add to do the Wi-Fi lookups. So what's really interesting about that is that when you do indoor tracking, for example, you can map the building and then use our data set to say we know where it is in the building just by the Wi-Fi access points. So no additional installation of beacons or worrying if the building's too thick to handle the GPS. You can use the Wi-Fi lookup in a number of environments, which makes it incredible. But we also do have a fallback as well. We have the LoRaWAN location engine. So even if there is no Wi-Fi and there is no GPS, if you have LoRa signal, we can work out where you are in the world. So yeah, even in the hardest of reached places, it still gets a lot beyond Wi-Fi, GPS, and BLE. So it's incredible to add that. Our platform focuses on usability of these kind of things, so adding geofences, for example, setting up alerts for when they breach geofences. That also implies to the other sensors in the T1000, so temperature, you can sense light, motion. These can all be set up as alerts for you and sent to you, so you're alerted on the data. And we also support forwarding of the data as well. So you can set up an action, so every time your T1000 uplinks, it sends the data to your systems or to your cloud or to your platform that you want to do. And we have a full API to access that whole system. So if you wanted to integrate a solution for using the T1000, we have a full API access that supports you from adding the device right through to alerts and management of everything, organizations, and everything's available via our API. And the whole platform's built on top of what we call AWS serverless. So it doesn't matter if we had 1 million users turn up tomorrow. Our platform just scales automatically and grows. What's really interesting about our platform as well is that it's fully on demand. So we have no active running servers. If there isn't an uplink, nothing happens. It's very, very green. It also reduces the cost of this. And a big part of what we've done recently is S3 storage for sensors. So they store their data every time they uplink on Amazon S3 now, which reduces the cost of how much it costs us to store this data. So we can generally offer 1 to 2 years of storage of this data for prices that most people will offer for 2 months worth of storage. So it really opens up the game, and the ability to, if you're a large company and know what you're doing with this data, we can open up those S3 buckets of data for you to ingest in your own system, which is really incredible. And then we extend the trackers a bit further as well. We do things like route matching. So you can set a walking or driving profile on the tracker, and it route matches you for the roads and the walking paths that you're going down to give you a much, much nicer picture of where you're going on the map. Rather than, sometimes if you've got it set for a 10-minute uplink, it'll be a very jarring straight line. This actually route maps it to the road as you're going around and does predictive data on where you would have gone. And then we support Helium originally, but we support all LoRaWAN networks. So we're becoming an LNS provider with our own net ID that we will roam across every LoRaWAN network. So if people want to use these on other networks as well, we can fully support that. And the last big thing about this is, it's a real expansion into kind of bringing everyone together and just making the solution work. It doesn't matter where you are or what it is available. You just want to use the solution. So let's make that happen. And that's a big step of what we're trying to do here. Kind of ties into the last one as well. It's like, Trackpac is a great solution, but we don't see us as being the company. We're very much in the realm of what Seed's doing as well. We want to be a partner to people that want to bring these solutions to the world. So the platform could be white labeled. You can brand the whole thing as your own solution, and you can resell tracking solutions instantly. So it's that ability to be a full turnkey solution that if you wanted to use these things in production on a very large scale, we can provide all the tools for you to do that on a software layer.
Okay, that's really cool. Back to the Helium and all LoRaWAN network, I just want to add comments here is, the LoRaWAN network is covered everywhere, but I think for big cities in the world, the helium coverage is without no problem. But in some specific areas, like nobody there, but there is a very specific industry, and then like mining and oil, that they need build up their local coverage, like the gateways. But they have the money to do this. They have the budget to do this.
Sure.
So that's your solution, is give them the options, not only leverage Helium, and you are flexible to integrate with different networks, right?
Exactly that. And I think a lot of what we see with big business is that they are very, very private with their data. So we want to be able to, support that private network just as much as we want to support Helium. We generally always say, Helium is great, use Helium. But if there's, like you say, we have talks with mining clients, there is no coverage there. So they have to set something up. So if they're setting it up, it makes sense for them to do private LoRaWAN. So we support that as well.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, a couple of screens from our new system. This is our V2 system that we've added. It's very easy to get going. Obviously, when we sell the trackers, we give people a QR code. The QR code can be scanned and added to the site. But if you just turned up today and you had the keys for your T1000, you can literally just enter the keys manually, pick which device type it is, and set which organization it's associated with and add it. That's it. From that point onwards, your device is working with us. On the right-hand side, you can see a management screen of the device. It's a good example of the route matching here. You'll see that the path, the green line, follows the road. You can see where it goes around the corners. That is all the route matching. We also have a timeline player underneath, so you can replay the journeys. This allows you to see where someone was going, how long they stopped somewhere, and view the full route as it plays. And just underneath there, you'll see there's an alarm history as well. So what we've done is given you a scale. So every time this button is pushed and the alarm goes off, you have an alarm history. If you want to go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, so on this one, you can see on the right-hand side here, we've had add action. So this is basically setting up an alarm for when the button is pushed on the T1000. I set the recipient type here is me. I am down as email and SMS. So I get an instant notification when the button is pushed that there's a problem and I need to deal with it, and I can set the message. So, and on the left-hand side, this is add geofence. So this is a great ability to set a geofence, and when the device enters or exit, you can get an alert. We set different alert types, so you can have enter or exit, enter, exit, or no alerts at all. And then we also allow the ability to set out of hours office alerts. So this is great for putting the T1000 in what's the mode, positioning mode? I can't remember what it's called. The second mode. So when it starts moving, it will start checking in. So you could leave one of these things in a car, for example, and when that car starts moving and starts moving out of the geofence, they would instantly get alert that the car's left the boundary.
Yeah, and this feature is
Yeah, and that's the basics of the system, really. So the ability there, when you add an action, is to also forward the data to an external system, and that allows you to be pushed the data from your T1000. So rather than having to pull it from a database, you can write a system that just receives it as if it was coming straight from the network itself. We just deal with the data for you automatically and do it. It's really easy to use. You can manage organizations in it. So the ability to group devices together, so by project, and see them all on a dashboard at the same time. So if you are managing an event or a campus or people on a work site where a need for safety, you can see a map of every device at the same time to know that they're all safe in the location and where they're based, and have these alarms set up to instantly notify you. So really makes these really takes these beyond just the hardware, and adds these features that make it really useful for businesses to start saying, well, I see a future in this by, like I say, putting them in a car and setting a geofence up, or I see a future in these as I can manage people on a campus, set up an alarms for a panic button and have people service, and have full reporting of all that data.
Yeah, that's really useful for those features, and Personally, yes. In the future, I would love to hear more stories or use a case from you. Yeah, from you. Okay. And yes, thank you. I think that's a brief introduction of the features of Trackpad. And next, I want to say, as Leo said, Trackpad can take requirements from the big players in the market. They can do white labeling on the software side or system side. Yes, as well as the software side, the hardware itself. Yeah, we focus on this. We would like to hear your voice and requirements for different industries. We can build modules and development board for you, or we can just customize the logos or design new clean closures on the hardware side. And that's our customization services. Like this, we can change the form factors, we can customization the software, etc. Make it suit for different requirements. That's something on the CSU side. I think that's also on the Leo's Trackpad side, right?
I have to say about this screen, by the way, I want that second one. I want that second one for my dog. I really do.
Okay. You are the first one to on the list. Okay, no problem.
Perfect.
Well, I put two links here. The SenseCAP tracker currently is on Kickstarter, but this link is a landing page of the tracker. You can learn more about the solutions, especially on the hardware and also our partner side. And on the right side is the Trackpac IO, which is Leo's website. So welcome to learn more information on that two pages. Yeah. So I think today we are just opening it up. This story will keep going as the tracker journey moving forward, especially when we ship out those devices to our users and Leo and use that tracker to meet different campaigns or some clients from the business, and then we will have a more story to share. And this is our first time, and definitely won't be the last time. We have a multiple webinar to continue. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I love talking about LoRa sensors, so we're very big on use cases. So the second we have some confirmed that we're allowed to talk about use cases for the T1000, we'll be publishing them. So.
Okay, thank you for watching, guys, and hope you have a great day. And thank you, Leo.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, bye.